Welcome to Central High, where the rich kids really get away with murder. This year, the in crowd has a real problem, because this year there's a new kid, and he doesn't like to be pushed around. He lives by the golden rule: do unto others, and make it permanent. You've got 3 minutes. Welcome to Central High. You're just in time for a massacre. Massacre at Central High, rated R.
You're listening to Moviesucktastic.
With these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane. Now we got drinks at the bar. Stay free, come
It all sounds like some bad movie.
Oh yeah, the crossroads of your life.
You're at the crossroads of your life.
Oof.
The crossroads of your life. A runner chasing dreams that could come true.
Fuck.
Welcome to Moviesucktastic.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say.
I'm gonna admit something to you right now.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait till we get out of the 70s.
There's a lot of 70s in this film.
Oh boy, and we're heading up towards the 80s. See what we're dealing with now. I think moving forward, are a lot of movies that that act, move, and sound like TV movies, after school specials, things of that nature. We're heading we're in that direction.
But now, to be fair, it's kind of intended in that way when you consider that it's a movie about. By the way, here on Moviesucktastic, I'm Scott. That's Joey, and we are reviewing Massacre at Central High, which was released in 1976, which is the year we're currently stuck in.
Yeah, sorry I jumped right into it.
That's okay. I just wanted to get that out there. So Massacre at Central High is this. Now, I want to preface everything by saying what we're watching here is like a typical slasher film, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's tame by those standards, but it is.
Right, except and I don't have the book in front of me. I have a book about horror films, one of several, really. And the author pointed it out that the only two films to precede Halloween, which is kind of known as the standard bearer for slasher films,
right?
The only two films to precede that fit the formula of the slasher film in some way are Black Christmas and Massacre at Central High.
Okay.
So Massacre at Central High is technically one of the first slasher films to come out. Not the one to popularize it, but one that jumped on it just as soon, just in the right time.
Right. And Halloween was 78. So, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. As far as a film that is in that like genre of like slasher, violent. This is very tame on both fronts.
Yes.
I would say that it has more nudity than it does shocking violence.
Well, let's explain why. The writer-director of the film is Rene, and that's like the European Rene. Rene. Renee Dulder. You know, you got the little
The little accent over there.
Yeah, the accent, which is actually the mustache is being pinched when you say it. Oh, Renee.
Oh,
As it comes out.
yeah, French bread.
And he this is his first American film. He's from
France.
He's like Scandinavian or something, one of the really, really, really white countries.
Ah, yes.
And he got this is his first American gig, and he got it because he was recommended the job by Russ Meyer.
Oh, wow. Okay.
All right, so
Super Vixens himself.
Yeah, that's right. And so whoever was pitching to Russ Meyer, pitching to him too, you're like, well, okay, there's got to be a common interest here, which of course is that they're just looking for movie fodder to put in screens. This is also, I think, the first film since Texas Chainsaw Massacre to have Massacre in the title.
Right. Okay.
And this makes sense because I listened to some of the audio commentary with the director, and he said that when he got the job, they came to him, and this is right out of our audio commentary for my favorite vampire, Vamp.
Oh, okay.
It's like right out of there. The same thing happened there. They came up to Dulder and said, okay, we have a title, Massacre at Central High, and we need 9 deaths in it. Can you do it? And he said, okay.
Sure.
And so that's it. And so that's why the killing is different, is interesting, and you can be sure that they also made sure that there was a lot of nudity in there too, because this is one of those. It's pure exploitation cinema in the 70s. Here's a title. I got a poster. I need a script in a month, or a week, and they crank it out. In this case, it was the writer and director, so you got something a bit more cohesive, which is what I think what makes it a more interesting film. Not to get ahead of ourselves.
Right. Yeah, no. I'm sorry. I was just looking at the slide of Robert Carradine going, man, to sin around here is a real bummer. I love Robert Carradine in this. He doesn't have like a very large role in this film, but the small scenes that he's in, it's like, hey man, there's gonna be some heavy changes around here.
Well, he wanted one of the lead roles. I think he wanted David, who's the bad guy, David, or the hero in my case.
Right. Well, he's a Carradine, so I'm sure he tried to get that done, and they didn't care. So.
Oh, you know what's funny is that Jan Michael Vincent was actually they wanted Jan Michael Vincent for I think Mark or David. Bruce.
Oh, Bruce, really?
Yeah, I think it was Mark or Bruce, and he didn't get the role. But I think the guy who plays Mark was actually, was it him? Was in 10 to Midnight, and that's the character. That was the character I kept mistaking for Jan Michael Vincent.
Right. Yes,
so
he was also in. If we were going on challenges, if we were going with the old format of the show, I would either be challenging you to 10 to Midnight, or I would be challenging you to.
Revenge of the Nerds.
No, the other film that he was in, the one with the Kirk Douglas, with the telekinesis, and he was trying to find the Fury. Yes. I mean, that's a challenge that's coming. That's happening. See, I mean, I think that movie came out in like 1981, so that's absolutely happening.
I made Holly watch this, so there's a lot of people in this film where you're watching, you go, oh, I know I've seen him in a couple things. I've seen him in stuff. Like Andrew Stevens, who plays Mark. I didn't clue into the fact that he was in the film we just mentioned.
Oh, The Fury.
Yeah, The Fury. But then once I said, oh, damn, that's why I recognize his face.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, I actually recognized him more from The Fury than 10 to Midnight. I was just like, immediately, I was like, oh, that's the Kirk Douglas' son in The Fury. The one that Kirk Douglas goes the entire film trying to get back. But
so you want to give a synopsis of the film? You want to start at the beginning?
So yeah,
but don't start at the opening credits because there's spoilers in the opening credits.
Correct. Yes. Oh, and the 30-second TV spot shows the ending. It's like, this is 1976. You were pulling this shit 45 years ago. Holy God.
The opening credits show the ending, Joe.
That is true. That is
how funny
true.
is this? I haven't seen this film since I saw it when I was a kid. So
I've never seen it.
30 years since I've seen this film.
Wow.
And so I'm watching with Holly, and the first thing comes up, and I'm like, oh, wait, hold on. These are spoilers. You can't watch this. What do you mean? And it also means you're able to fast forward past You're at the crossroads of your life. The crossroad. You can stop me at any time.
No, that's okay.
Because what the fuck? That was the first thing that drew Holly's ire. She's what is going on with this soundtrack?
It's awful.
And it's not just the opening too. There's like parts in this film. So what is this? What are we doing? And it made me feel so much better when I read that the director also hates the soundtrack.
As he should. It's a terrible soundtrack.
Apparently, he didn't watch the whole thing for like a decade or two because of how much he hated the soundtrack when he first saw the opening.
Good, I'm with him.
Oh no, it's a horrible soundtrack.
It's absolutely horrible.
Score.
Oh, sure. There are songs in there, so there is a soundtrack to the film as well. So anyway, Mark and David. David comes into town. Mark has been in town for a little while, but what you get is that Mark and David were best friends from the town that they were in previously. Mark was able to escape, quote unquote escape, move to this ritzy town where him and his friends pretty much rule the school. And David comes into town, and Mark wants to, have him be welcome and wants him to join his little band of friends running the school. And of course, that doesn't go over well with David because it's not how he does things, so to say.
Right.
And it just kind of sets up this
David's
divide. Well,
That's
yeah.
what it is.
It sets up this divide of this is how we do things here, and this isn't how it used to be, and you should adapt. And of course, David is essentially the Christian Slater character in Heathers.
Damn it! Because I was gonna continue for you and say, and David, of course, this clique that hates him, they're all named Heather, and they really don't like him. But you ruined my segue.
I'm sorry.
Damn it! But yeah,
So-
I mean, this film has been out. The director in the audio commentary said that the makers of Heathers have been open about it being a remake of this, or having borrowed from this.
Sure, it's a heavily influenced.
Myself, having
movie.
listened to the audio commentary of the entire Heathers film with the writer director both talking, I didn't hear jack shit on that audio commentary about that. So maybe that's what they're saying to his face. And apparently critics vastly have pointed out the connection between Heathers and this.
Oh, yeah.
When reviewing Heathers, Siskel, Ebert. What was the funny thing I read about him is that he actually loved. He loved Massacre at Central High. He was like the only critic that really gave it a good review when it came out.
Really?
Then when Heathers came out, he never mentioned the connection. If he knew it, he never mentioned the connection between the two, and he didn't like Heathers. He said he gave it like 2 stars.
Of course.
2.5. So I find that interesting. There's the bulk of the connection is really in the third act, but it's all throughout the film, the whole concept. But yeah, it's the Heather clique in Massacre at Central High is really just tall, handsome men in sweaters.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's always sweater weather in California. I thought it was like the land of sunshine, but no. It's
if it's more central northern Cali, then you're gonna end up with more sweater wear.
You're going to see every type of sweater ever made. You're going to see turtlenecks. You're going to see V-necks. You're going to see crew necks. You're going to see sweater vests. The lead actress, I'm 100% convinced she's wearing a sweater over a sweater in her first scene.
That's probably to hide how voluptuous she is, as Russ Meyer would say.
It also makes me wonder if the Slavic, he's like Slavic or Norwegian or something like that, but he comes from a cold ice country with pale white people. I'm wondering if he was talking to the wardrobe area or the casting people about that as well.
You never know. You never know.
Yeah. Just say no. Make sure they're wearing sweaters. Trust me. It's what they do. Well, and also I'm going to mention quickly. No, actually, I won't mention it yet because I'm cutting you off. Please continue, sir.
So, essentially, this group David's, or I should say, Mark's group, you know, they're running the school. They're all assholes.
Mark.
They're all.
Mark's a fucking idiot, by the way.
Yes, he is.
Sorry, just had to throw that out there.
Yeah. So they rule the school, but even though they're assholes, the school is in line. It's unfortunate.
So you're saying is, yeah, they're kind of tough, but the trains are running on time.
Yeah.
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 See, and that's what I like about. It's one of the things I like about Massacre Central High is that it's not just a straight slasher film. It's actually like it's a polemic against fascism.
You know what? That's actually a very good point. So what ends up happening is they're trying to, or Mark is really pushing to get David in this group. You know, he loves him. He remembers him fondly of when they were growing up, and he really wants him to be a part of this group. And David is he doesn't want any part of it. And one thing leads to another, and they end up attacking David and putting him in the hospital, where they allude to the fact that he loses a leg, but I guess they didn't have the budget to kind of try and show that.
Well, why?
They drop a whole car on his leg, like without
Yeah.
the wheel, so it's like the entire the wheel well.
I got a nice shot of that for the slide.
Yeah, I saw it. It's pretty dramatic.
Yeah, so that's one of those scenes I remember from my childhood when I watched the film once. I mean, I have a great memory for movies. I got to say.
Yeah.
Except for Megaforce, I don't know how that slipped until Chris Wallner mentioned it. That still scares me to this day. How easily I forgot Megaforce.
It's no one's gonna hold that against you.
I will.
Okay.
Trust me, I will. What was I saying?
We were talking about the car dropping on his leg, and you had a good shot of it.
Oh yeah, I mean that was those pivotal scenes. I remember from my childhood. I remembered the pool. I remembered the car. I remembered all the kills except for the tent one later, and
Okay.
I remembered the ending. I just didn't remember like the dialogue and stuff. So you know, in my memory, I never remembered it being such a political film in some regard.
Right.
You know, there being a meaning behind it. But here's a question for you, Joey.
Yeah.
How far into the film were you when you realized that you hadn't seen an adult anywhere?
It's a good question. I think the first time I noticed it was maybe halfway through the film.
Which halfway part are we talking about?
I think I noticed a teacher through the halls, actually.
No.
No?
No.
Then
No. There are no adults in this film until the end scene, the dance, the
alumni dance. I
technically-
guess maybe my brain just put an adult in there at some point, but
technically you could say it's not that we don't see any adults, is that we don't see any non-students in the film at all, because that's an alumni dance. So technically they're former students at that alumni dance. So the whole film the whole film takes place in a universe where like only this student body exists. So you know that's why it makes more sense as an allegory or you know whatever you want to call it.
sure.
And this is what happens when an American producer asks a European director to make him an exploitation film. It's like, oh, you'll get your death and like the first two things he told the guys, I don't want any adults in the movie and I don't want any guns. He's going to kill everybody with gravity. And they said yes because I guess things were easier back then.
You know, also in this 30-second TV spot, I think they show five of the kills.
Yeah,
It's like it's a 30-second spot, and they pretty much show half the movie.
it's possible that I only saw the commercial that far back, but I thought I saw the whole film.
So also another thing is the main love interest. What's her face? She was Mark's
Teresa.
girl. Yes, Teresa. Kimberly Beck is her real name. So
Now this is a very feminist film, really, because she is the strongest character in the movie.
Yeah.
Even though she's completely dull and bland, really, outside of like David Morey, who played David, and Carradine, really there are no good actors in this film.
No, they're terrible.
No, horrible.
So there's a scene. This is before they take his leg. It's in school, and again, you're right. No teachers, like no adults anywhere. Like there's 3 guys trying to rape 2 girls.
Oh, yeah.
But hold on.
Don't go right into that.
What?
Because I just got to tell you, no. I mean, before I'll let you go, but before you get to that,
yeah.
Holly and I, like, again, I mean, Holly watched with me, so we're watching all these bullies do stupid shit, like, you know, oh, I'm gonna mess up your car, oh, I'm gonna dump books on you, and then all of a sudden, both of us, almost at the same time, we're raping now.
We're on to rape.
We're really right back to rape. It's like oh, okay, no, and then it's like, yeah, okay, things just really got serious.
Yeah.
That's where the whole fascism thing really digs in. It's like, yeah, no, this wasn't just about bullies.
Yeah, no.
Up to that point, you can like, oh, it's just about, you know, kids and adults. No, we're into rape now. This is definitely an adult subject matter.
So Mark basically tells Teresa that his friends are with 2 girls and they're gonna get it on, and she's like, "Well, are you?" It's like it doesn't sound like they were into it.
Well, Mark's telling Teresa because Mark was too much of a chicken shit coward to go with them. And then he was too much of a chicken shit coward to stop them.
That's correct.
And then only pouting because he doesn't feel good about it, and his girlfriend's giving him shit. Does he like just petulantly tell, "Oh yeah, well, you know, your friends are getting raped, by the way."
Yeah.
Not so bluntly, but I mean, this guy's just a douche. How did David
ever hang out with him? He probably protected him when they were back in that old place.
Well, that's
probably why Mark loves him so much. I mean, that's a backstory that we didn't really get, but I get the feeling that Mark was protected by David.
Yeah, actually, it's in the opening credits. One of the only scene in the opening credits that isn't like a flash forward to a murder or something is a flashback to like a fight in a narrow concrete alleyway or something, almost like a tunnel. And supposedly that whole backstory is that David came across a bunch of guys beating up Mark, and not even knowing him, jumped in to protect him.
Oh. And
that's when they became friends. And that's all the time they gave for that backstory, wasn't that?
Wow.
That little clip.
Not that I had this on in the background. I was watching it, but I was working while I was watching it. And it was just,
you didn't miss anything that really explained it in great
detail.
Well,
it's interesting that I guessed it, and you're probably telling me that I'm right.
Yeah, they allude to it. David says something lame, like, "Oh, you know, I was in trouble once, and he stuck out for me, and he didn't even know me." And that's really all you need to know.
Yeah. So David gets wind of this, and he goes to help out. Now Teresa has gone into the room and basically has told the 2 guys, or the 3 guys trying to rape the 2 girls, that, well, you know what, you can't get it up while someone else is watching. And then David enters the room, right? And beats the ever-loving shit out of him. Now, gets his licks in on him too. But hold on. Hold
on. You're bypassing one important part.
What's
David
that?
only becomes involved because as he's walking down the hall, Bruce throws Teresa out into the hallway, pretty much telling him, "We'd rape you if you weren't Mark's girlfriend."
Oh, yes. You're right. You're right.
Sorry, I didn't want to miss that part because David wasn't looking for trouble. He's like, da 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 da. Teresa flies through a hallway against lockers. Oh shit.
Oh man, there's that girl that I like. So then David enters the room and they fight and beats the shit out of him. They get their licks in on him too, but he breaks up the raping, and him and Teresa leave. But the thing that kills me about the scene is I don't know who wrote the dialogue for her, but she says to him, "You know, while you were in there, I couldn't tell the difference between any of you." And at that moment, I'm just like, well, while I was saving you and your friends from being raped, thank you. You know, you're welcome.
Well, so
it's just one of those scenes where it's like, why would anyone say that?
Well, I will point out again that the screenplay was written by the director, and this was his first American film. And I've read that the young actors did feel that the dialogue was clunky, and some of them would ad lib. Most likely Carradine.
Yeah.
I carried
Some
all
heavy
carrying
changes are
stuff
coming,
feels
man.
kind of like he wrote it himself.
Okay.
Whenever those clunky lines come up, first European director, first time writing an American film, and chooses to do a bunch of 20-year-olds playing teenagers in a high school. You're gonna get some of that dialogue. Yeah.
Got to stop the raping.
I said, "Well, how do we just go to?" I don't, and I'm like, I remember the van. I remember the hang glider. I remember the pool. I remember the car. I don't remember the rape. When did this happen?
Well, that's probably a good thing.
It's quite possible I watched this on TV too. No, because I remember seeing the.
Well, they didn't actually get raped.
I might have seen this on public television.
I mean, there was a nudity in the scene. Usually during an attempted rape, you usually get a shirt ripped off, and
I don't remember any of the nudity either. So most likely I saw this on public television.
Well, the thing is, you cut out the nudity. This is a PG rated film.
Right, exactly, and it's filmed that way. Like so it's like, okay, so we definitely have enough for the theaters, but we can sell it to public television too, for like the late night roll, because there's nothing, you can cut out all those scenes.
Right.
It's like when you watch porn and you can tell when they're filming the B-roll for the hotel chains.
Yeah.
Like, all of a sudden I can't see anything for 30 seconds. I wonder why.
Yeah, there's a different camera on this side of the room.
So I'm told.
Yeah, of course.
Right. So continuing past the rape.
Past the raping. So they meet him at his garage where he's working on a car, and they drop the lift right onto his leg. He passes out immediately in pain, in shock. Comes to, and they pretty much tell you he lost his leg, so he's got a prosthetic. They don't show any of that, but
also that he didn't turn anybody in.
He didn't turn anybody in.
Anybody in.
Yeah, so he's decided to get revenge instead.
Well, I'm saying, on the surface, everybody thinks everything's cool because he won't talk to anybody, and he didn't turn anybody in. And when he comes back to school, he just pretty much just doesn't react or anything. It's like, yeah,
right,
hi,
and
whatever.
Then
so nobody knows that he's like on a rampage until like 2 or 3 bodies in.
Yeah, because they start going out one by one. So like when the first one goes, it's the guy that actually
the hang glider.
Yeah, this the guy that actually dropped the car on his leg. Bruce, right?
Which I'm surprised they took the big guy out first, but I guess when you're talking about if you look at the allegory of like a dictatorship, and because part of the whole theme with fascism is the idea that violent overthrows don't solve anything, that you have to work things out amicably. Yeah. Not the tangent. I apologize. Go ahead.
Okay.
But I just didn't think they'd do him first.
I'm not surprised at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
As a first-time viewer, yeah.
It's a first time what? I've never seen this film.
In my memory, I assumed he was like the pool guy. I didn't think he'd be the hang glider. I thought it was going to be like the goofy blonde guy.
Right. Well, I mean, they start going one by one. So when the hang glider, Bruce, he dies by hang glider. It's a dangerous. It's dangerous to do to begin with. So he ends up in some.
More so when someone clips the lines.
Yeah, and he ends up in power lines and gets electrocuted and dies. So when it happens, they just kind of figured that he fucked up, and it's what a rush, man. You ever go hang gliding? What a rush, man.
And if you want to, I don't agree with it myself particularly, but you could draw the parallel between that and Icarus flying too close to the sun.
Sure.
But I don't think that applies in this parable.
No. And the thing is, I didn't think hang gliding was that popular in America, maybe in Scandinavia.
In the 70s?
Yeah.
Mork and Mindy had a hang glider. Every TV show in the 80s had a hang gliding scene. Hang gliding was the shit in the 80s and 70s.
It's one of those things that maybe I've mentally blocked it out, but I don't even.
It's your Italian heritage. You can't fully grasp the concept of hang gliding.
It's possible. It's possible.
And I think it's a positive trait. I'm ashamed that I understand the concept myself.
Yeah, I mean, I've never even had the opportunity to hang glide. No one's ever said, "Hey, you want to go hang gliding?" No, that's never happened.
Right. He was in Harold and Kumar.
That's because it was making fun of just hang gliding in general, because all those guys were like extreme douchebags.
Right, but if hang gliding was something that people didn't do animore, they wouldn't.
Well, I didn't
have
say
had it
they
in-
didn't do it anymore. I just said I don't remember it in the 70s and 80s.
I think we're focusing on the wrong part. Of
probably,
the film here.
but it's
Yes.
not something that I like. You can't remember Megaforce? I don't associate hang gliding with anything.
That's a different thing. Totally. That's memory versus association. You're killing me.
What the fuck was
Killing
that?
me. Stop doing this, Joey. Get back to the film, Joey. What was that?
I don't.
sorry.
I don't know.
Anyway, next was and then the pool guy goes next.
Pool guy goes next.
I tried to get a nice
perfect
shot
timing
of him,
on
he
the
goes,
slide.
"Ah!"
The perfect timing on the slide. That's up on the screen right now. Him jumping and then the pool of blood with around his body. Which, by the way, you could Photoshop his face out. It just looks like there's no head because of how weirdly angled his head is under his arm. Like the angle of the shot.
Oh yeah, it's just
You could easily just take that, Photoshop his face off, and it'll look like he has no head. Like it was.
Well,
Like
it's
it'll
like-
look like it could look like he's been beheaded.
Well, it's like the old cliche. Whenever they show someone that falls from a great height from above, the one leg is always bent at the wrong angle.
Yeah.
Just so you know, this one's like, just twist the head under the arm, like
Yeah,
like
that
you
was
would
a
never
it was
do.
a hard fall.
Now, so
I don't know how you don't know there isn't water in the pool. I mean, just talking, it would echo. I mean,
Right.
it just. I mean, we're not here to like really. It's a bad film from the
Hey,
70s. So.
no adults were involved after the rape sequence. I don't want to talk about logic here. This is not a real film.
Yeah.
This is a fantasy. This is a Scandinavian fantasy in slasher guise.
Right.
That's all it is. So things start falling apart. The remaining two douchebags, Mark and what was the blonde surfer guy's name?
Yeah, the one that ended up.
Was that Rodney?
Uh,
I think that was Rodney. Craig is the one that died in the swimming pool. Yeah, it's Rodney.
Craig. Yeah.
So Rodney's the last one left, and no one's listening to him because he's too goofy. So David kills him in his own van. Just rolls again with gravity. So the first three kills are gravity.
Which is interesting because the weight of the vehicle falls on him, gravity. So I guess the connection is that if you're gonna make one.
The van rolled down a hill. That's gravity.
No, I know, but when he lost his leg, it was because the car.
Oh no, that's included in the whole gravity thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
The car dropped on his leg. Yes, you are correct. I thought you were still talking about.
No. I was talking about how him losing his leg was due to gravity.
See the whole gravity thing. I love the whole gravity theory, and it's not just a theory. The director has said that's how I sold that's how I sold the idea. I wanted to do this where he doesn't kill people with a knife or a gun, and I love the gravity thing. But the gravity thing falls apart when things started fucking exploding.
Yeah, yeah, which happens in the third act.
No.
Yeah,
Is that third act?
it's like the last 20 minutes, half hour.
Okay, third act. You're right. Sorry,
Yeah.
you're right. Third act. My bad.
I mean, it takes a while
No.
to get
you
to
are
the
correct.
killing.
You are 100% correct. But what happens is now the first parallel with the Heathers is obviously the whole thing with the clique running things, and then the guy systematically killing them off. The second similarity to Heathers is the fact that once you remove the bad guys, or in the case of the Heathers, the lead Heather, the other Heather rises to power, and this is the kind of Animal Farm story going on here, where once David removes these fascist dictators, the people that were being picked on, they take place of the
Right.
fascist dictators and become fascists themselves.
And they're just as bad, if not maybe even
Right.
worse.
Which is why it's a whole polemic about violent overthrow of government. The French did it, didn't help. It's not a good idea. So then round two of the killings, but then he pulls like a Godfather. They'll all die at the same time.
Yeah.
But it wasn't hard because they were all in the same building, so it's not that grand of a scope.
Yeah.
But so he just all the guys that tried to step in, he just blows up his head, blows up his locker. Which
one by one.
All right, can we rewind a bit?
Sure.
Fucking. I don't know what his name was. The fat kid.
The fat kid.
Maybe that was Rodney. I don't know.
No.
But remember when? So the
was
first
it
time
Harvey?
he's in the gym and they're making him climb the rope.
Mm-hmm.
And like with a knife and stuff. Yeah. Fat kid, get up there. I'm like, that's the fat kid.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like,
I paused that. I paused that for Holly. I said, that's their fat kid. And I looked further into it. That actor gained 30 pounds for that role. Because apparently they couldn't find a fat actor acting better than that guy.
Oh my God.
As a fat high school student, I object on every level of this character's existence, from the beginning where he's actually considered a fat person up through the point to where he's still not a fat person, but he's actually bullying people by stomach bumping them.
Yeah, I saw that too. It just come
only
on.
A fucking Swede that hasn't seen a fat person in 50 years would write that scene. God damn him to hell.
How much do you weigh? I'm 6'1", 180 pounds. All right, you need to gain 30 pounds. Yes. Yes, you're fat now. Yes. It's like, what? What the fuck, man?
Ow. Oh.
Also, as a fat kid growing up in high school that was made to do things like climb rope, and it was like, yeah, fuck that. And then, of course, when they're
Dude, beyond that, that's what they're calling the fat kid.
No, I know, and they're beating him up, and they're making him go up this rope, and then he goes up higher than he's ever gone before.
And of course, once he becomes like a bully,
right?
He's a fat kid, so of course he has to have bad hair and wear a bad polo shirt. Yeah. Oh, fuck you so much. Fuck you so much, film. God damn it. Even if both of those things are true, still, god damn it.
Yeah. So all the
I shit you not. I have a high school photo that I just described with that description.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. High school? Yeah. No. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. Probably high school. Yeah.
Right. No. Middle school. Yeah. Anyway.
One of the two. They're within 3 years of each other. 2 years of each other. I
might have hit both. Who knows?
You never know. And at the right time, it's only a few months of each other, ending 8th grade, beginning 9th grade. Anyway, so the bullies, Mark's gang of guys, they go into the locker room. They're like, "Hey, did you see the fat kid? This is the highest he's ever gone." It's like almost to the point of where it's like, "Do you see what we did? Yeah, we were hard on him, but he still went up higher than he's ever gone before because of how hard we were on him."
And that's where it makes more sense when you consider it being an allegory of fascism, a fascist state. So the government's telling you that everything we're doing is for your good. Well, and right. It's that kind of mind, that like gaslighting bullshit.
Sure. Yeah.
So, the film does make a lot more sense when you consider that, because if you don't, it's just a bad slasher film.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. So after he kills off all the, and then he kills off the last batch, Spoonie, Carradine and his harem.
Yeah.
He frames them for all the other murders by blowing up, having them die by an avalanche. Like, oh yeah, they.
Well, he leaves all of the dynamite and the explosives at their campsite, and the girl finds it, and Carradine's like, "Oh, let's just go back in the tent and fuck," and let's just go do that instead.
He didn't say that, but that's
not what he said. But he looked at it. He's like, "Oh, stick of dynamite."
No, that's what he did. Yeah.
And he just throws it. He goes, "Oh, fuck that shit. Let's just go back to the tent." Like,
you know what's weird?
He just went back with them, and they're all naked. So,
I watched the film twice before we reviewed it the show tonight, and I swear I watched the second time when he uses he blows up the rocks and they crush the tent and kills Spoonie and the girls.
Right.
I'm watching it the second time. It's like, where's the scene where they show the bodies? I could have sworn they showed the bodies. And I went back and forth twice. It's not there. It says, how do I remember something I just saw 2 days ago? How am I like not remembering this correctly?
Are you maybe associating? Are you associating maybe just them inside the tent before everything fell?
No, because this was like bloody and death, and that's not my bag, baby.
Maybe you're watching something else.
It very well could be.
Yeah.
But it just freaked me out. I was like, I just thought, like, oh, I must have glanced away and missed it. Because I'm doing the screenshots for the slides, right. And I couldn't find it. I was like, motherfucker. fuck? Did I imagine that in 2 days? So,
Sounds
a little weird aside.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
So anyway, so after that scene, Mark and Teresa, they're in the car and they're just going back and forth saying they know that David is doing all of this and that Mark said that he still can't turn him in, probably because of their childhood, and that he's going to go talk to him. Teresa wants to come, but he doesn't let her. He leaves her in the car. And he goes in and he confronts him. And David with a gun, and David basically tells him that, go ahead and kill me. Otherwise, I'm gonna go, blow up the school.
But Joey, what is he wearing? What is David wearing?
He is wearing a trench coat.
A trench coat,
just like Christian Slater in Heathers. Absolutely.
Wow, that's weird. What a weird coincidence.
A huge coincidence. When the second I saw it, I'm like, oh, Christian Slater, Heathers. He wears a trench coat the whole movie. That's kind of become synonymous with like the loner kid, the trench coat.
I do love the scene where she comes to visit him alone, and she's like, "I know you're killing everybody. Just please don't kill Mark." And he's like, "Yeah, I don't know if I can do that."
Yeah. Oh, I love it when she tells Mark that she was like, we went skinny dipping, and I wanted to make love, and he didn't. He loves you.
Oh.
And then it's like, wait, what? You were going to fucking cheat on me? He doesn't even say anything about it. He's just like, oh, just kind of takes it. She basically admits that she was going to cheat on him, no hesitation, but his best friend, David, didn't want to, and that he should, give David a chance.
I was just as shocked as Mark was when I saw David and Teresa running around naked, full frontal, in the water.
Pendulous.
Yeah, pendulous. Just I was like, what the fuck is going? Oh, 70s exploitation. That's right. Okay.
Yes, European director.
Yeah.
Yeah, pendulous.
Well, not just European, but also 70s exploitation.
Of course. And
I challenge this to you, so you have a challenge for me tonight.
I do.
Yes, I'm looking forward to
this. Well, this is what I'll tell you. I'll give you a hint.
No, stop.
Well, no, I'm only going to tell you the
genre. We're almost done with the review.
Okay.
Stop.
All right.
It's my fault for bringing it up.
It is your fault for bringing it up.
Sorry. That's why I apologize.
Okay.
So yeah, David has his big hurrah. He's going to blow up the high school, which actually the high school in reality, the outside that they use is the Carnegie building.
It looks like it. You know what? It looked like a Carnegie building because I have a couple of libraries that are Carnegie buildings, and it looks a lot like that.
Holly and I were talking about it after the first couple establishing shots. That this is not a school. This is like a library or a government building, but then at the end when they're having the alumni dance,
right?
And they show the outside. Holly said it looks just like Home Alone, like the fake figures dancing in front of the windows. It's so poorly we have to convince them there's a party inside. Quick, shadows against the windows. Keep the change, you filthy animal.
That's right. So now that David and is going to blow up the school, Mark and Teresa he locks them in probably the most poorly wooden door shed ever garage, and it's just like they're there. He makes it all the way to the school, so they're in there for at least 10 or 15 minutes.
Well, if you consider that he also got his leg crushed while under a car, levers aren't his best friend. Explosions, gravity, yes. Levers, it's a weakness.
Yeah. So, but then Mark he's like, all right, I'm gonna break us out of this thing, and he kicks it like 3 times, and it opens right up, and it's like, you obviously spent more time than you needed to in this shed, garage, whatever it was, and he gets a crowbar and doesn't do anything. And then he kicks it twice, and it opens up.
Yeah, and let's be fair, Mark is a colossal pussy.
Yeah, he is. Absolutely. Man. Yes.
Even after he finds his girlfriend like gallivanting in the dark, fully naked in the water, he goes back up. He's like, "Yeah," he said he wasn't interested, but go easy on him, man. Come on. He's like, he did like, I expected him to be like, "Yeah, he's not going to work out. Take him." Instead, he's like, "Oh, he's still my friend." So he's like, this Weasley little. Even at the end, he has nothing to do with the resolution.
No, nothing.
Nothing at all.
And he gets
There's no point in this film that, and this is a role that people were fighting for.
Yeah.
You know, Jan Michael Vincent wanted either this role or Bruce. I hope it was Bruce because this role sucks. It's a bad character.
So then,
Sorry.
no, it's okay. Then David is at the dance, and then Teresa and Teresa and Mark show up, and he basically tells him, he goes, "Listen, you got 3.5 minutes, and then this place is gonna blow the fuck up." Then he walks off scene, and she goes to Mark, and she's like, "Well, let's dance," meaning, if I stay here, I'm gonna die, and he's in love with me, so he's not gonna blow me up. I'm confident of that. Then David comes back into the scene, and he's like, "Listen, you got 3.5 minutes," and she's like, "I know." It's like she's calling his bluff. So then he starts running towards where he's got the bomb. He's like hightailing it, and it's in the basement, just like they did in Heather's.
Right.
And
Oh,
it's even like around like the boiler area, just like they did in Heather's.
Yes, the boiler room.
Yeah.
Exactly like it. Now, before we get to that bomb, I have one thing about the bomb. But so the whole thing with Teresa when she's like, we're gonna dance. I'm gonna throw. She's like throwing herself on the grenade, so to speak. She's like, I'm gonna save these people. And to me, all I can think of is like if you take Teresa and Mark, it's like Tiananmen Square. If Teresa was the person in front of the tanks with the shopping bags,
Right.
and Mark was like a box of macaroni in one of those shopping bags. That's about as pivotal to the story as he is.
Yeah, this is true. He
Yeah,
really adds nothing to
Teresa.
He really adds nothing to almost every scene that he's in.
Yeah, and it's intentional. That's not like this is like a weakness in the film. She's the strong female. The only weakness is that she's not a better actress, and I'm not trying to be mean.
Right. No, hey.
Maybe she got better. I mean, she's only in high school. Come on.
Yeah, true. Very true. So then David...
Come on, she's in her 20s, obviously.
Obviously. She's
she's
probably in her early 70s at this point.
Patronize me.
Hey, what are you going to do? So anyway, I love it. There's a picture of all the presidents, and it's just like it's Lyndon B. Johnson, JFK, Nixon, Ford. It's just right in the corner, and it's just like there's like it's just whatever. So anyway, so then
the bomb in the basement.
So David goes to run to go get the bomb, and he's like, all right, I can't let Teresa die. That's basically, he doesn't say that, but that's his intention.
Exactly.
He doesn't give a shit about anybody else. So he's hightailing it out of there now to get it out of the building. And what I don't understand, and I understand what the intention was, but once he made it out the front door, why didn't he just throw the fucking thing?
That's the wrong question.
Because he made it halfway down the street almost.
Dude, I'm so disappointed in you. That's not the question.
Look, why didn't he throw it in?
No, he built the thing. Why didn't he just disable it? He could have disarmed that.
That is true. That is also true.
Like, well, shit, nothing's happened if I pull the fuse out of this. We're done. The Heather's ending makes a bit more sense into why he blows up at the end, but it's still ripped off from this film.
Of course, absolutely. As far as like defusing the bomb, I get why that wasn't done. It's the same way where Harold and Kumar are going to White Castle and they're going down to Cherry Hill. They literally have to, because it's a New Jersey film, they literally have to drive by 2 White Castles that were actually years around and available when that movie was made. Had they driven to the one in Woodbridge, which is the one they would have driven by an hour before they hit Cherry Hill, there'd be no movie. Same thing with this. The analogy I'm going with is if he just diffused it, there would be no tension, nothing. So him trying to get it out of the school is why he couldn't just quote unquote diffuse it.
This is where criticism falls flat sometimes. Because if I went to the director right now and asked, how come he just didn't defuse the bomb? The director would say, because if he defused the bomb, you would not be able to run outside and blow up. Explosion. And
Explosions.
that's the closest I'm going to get to doing an accent right now.
Yeah.
But you get the drift.
Yeah, a couple more
Yeah.
drinks and we could try it again.
It's like, so of course Clint Eastwood found one open parking spot in New York City. Oh, you want to spend 5 minutes watching him circle the block? Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a line. There's a limit. There's a limit to where, like, you can criticize it, but we know why they did it.
Of course.
I think it has to be said, but I understand. We want to see him blow up outside. I'm with you.
Yeah.
And she is. This is why David is the hero of the film, because at the end they make sure to go out of their way to have Teresa. Mark's not telling Teresa. Teresa's telling Mark. Say, we're gonna lie and say that he was trying to save people, and that the people he framed are still considered the killers.
Right.
We're
It's
gonna
like they
protect-
planted one more bomb and he found it and he saved everyone.
Right. Then we're gonna protect him and make him a hero, even though he killed all of our friends. That's why David is the hero of the film. Because I think even deep down he was like, yeah, hey, he killed all the fascists, so it was bad, but they were fascists.
Yeah, they were assholes.
Yeah.
But what I like about the scene after he's basically outside and he's a charred, flaming mess, there's like nothing left of him. All the adults and everything, they come out like with the kids and they're like, oh man, it's just a little fire. It's all right.
Alumni.
It's all right.
Alumni. Actually, the first non-students we see are the police that show up.
Speaking of alumni, I've been getting a lot of emails from our high school about how I'm past due on my alumni association fees or some shit like that. And it's legitimate. They want me to pay these fees so that they could have some sort of a reunion at some point.
Oh.
And I'm like, I'm not giving you a fucking red cent, and I'm not going to the reunion. So you better not. I need to get my. I don't even know how they got my email address, to be completely
Facebook.
honest. I don't have my email address on Facebook.
They got us somewhere.
I'm gonna remove my address. I know that, or block them.
I still get LiveJournal alerts for your birthday.
Really?
Yeah, I don't even know like how to go to LiveJournal at this point. And turn off
I
things,
actually
but-
did go to LiveJournal and I recovered a password. It was like 10 passwords ago, and I was able to log in because there was. I remember a time where I don't remember what Mare did. She did something where.
Oh, okay. We're
I
gonna
guess I
dial
got-
back now to the films. I think we should stop.
What? I was just going to say
No.
she did something where I made a post, something along the lines of like, would someone tell Mayor, maybe we should do such and such, and everyone jumped down my throat.
I'm just trying to steer us back to the film as a good co-host. That's all I'm trying to do.
Okay, don't worry, I'm not going to do anything bad.
And again, it's my fault.
I'm not saying anything bad. All right, so anyway, where was I?
See, we're at the end of the film.
Yes, I know. Oh, when they come outside and it's just some fire. It's just some fire, man. Let's go back inside and let's do some more dancing.
Yeah.
When he said that, it was all voiceover work, but it was like somebody added that on purpose because there's no
Sure.
dialogue here. But somebody wrote that. It's just a small fire, man. Let's go back inside and just do some more dancing. It's like, ugh.
Again, yeah, the film's got some missteps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the movie.
That's the movie. I think if it wasn't for the fact that Heathers ripped it off, and then the audio commentary they never mentioned the fact they ripped off Heathers,
Right.
I probably wouldn't remember this film as much as I do.
Yeah.
But that did piss me off when that finally happened. Also, they sounded like complete idiots on the entire audio commentary. It's like, oh, I was looking up to these people, and they're like, oh, everything that's smart about this film was a mistake. Oh shit.
So this film has actually been reviewed pretty well. It's a 6.1 on IMDb, and I want to say it's like 71% on Rotten Tomatoes. The viewer score is a lot lower. It's like in the 50 percentile.
All
But
right.
critics, for the most part, gave this a favorable review. It's a 6.1 on IMDb.
All right, here's what I'm going to say. On face value alone, just watching the film, just as a viewer, I would say 6.
Okay.
The only reason I want to give it 7 is when you consider that this film was like a precursor to the slasher films of the time, and that it did tackle it in a unique way that most slasher films didn't for decades after. I think it really earns the credit just for those two facts.
This is where I wish we could give half points, because I wouldn't hesitate to give this a 6.5. I wouldn't.
How about this?
Seven seems a little high to me. We've reviewed some Oscar nominations that have gotten a 7. 7 is when you start heading into this is a really good film territory.
Maybe this will change your mind. You know who else ripped off this film?
Who?
Poseidon Adventure. Having a cheesy light song over a disastrous movie.
I mean, I guess so.
The only reason I can't remember this song is that every time I think of the song from this film, I eventually think of There's Gotta Be a Morning After, and then I get stuck on There's Gotta Be a Morning After, and I can't remember this song again.
Ah, I see.
See, so I feel like Poseidon Adventure is that Massacre film, they had the idea with the soundtrack. They knew what they were doing. Let's get some light breezy shit in here in this action film.
Ay.
I know.
So what are we thinking?
What's
your gut
I
instinct?
Like 7, but I'm not going to argue it.
Well, what's your gut instinct?
I don't know, between a 6 and a 7.
Well, what would you? Okay.
7's probably overreaching it. I'm okay with a 6.
Okay, let's give this shit a 6.
All right.
I just, not in good conscience, I can give this a 7. I know it's a precursor. I know it.
My view is colored by my nostalgia. I'm totally aware of that.
Okay.
A 6 it is.
Fine.
All right. We're on the books.
All right. So even though I cannot wait to get out of the 70s and get into the 80s, we are not leaving 1976. We are going to stay here a little while longer.
All right. So I just want to let you know, I have 47 films. Why do I only have unplayed? That doesn't make any sense. On my Plex, I have 74 films from 1976.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know why I was only looking at unwatched, because that makes no sense. So we've got.
You might even. You know what? I can guarantee you actually have this movie already.
Oh no, probably.
I would say that you do. I actually don't have this. I completely forgot about this film until I was doing some research on what to challenge you on.
So just to recap, our first 1976 film was a sci-fi classic, Logan's Run.
Yes.
Then we jumped to an obscure pre-slasher era slasher film. So we've gone from sci-fi to horror. What's next, sir?
It's horror again, but it's considered sci-fi-ish as well. It's based on an H.G. Wells portion of a novel, so it's like I guess there's a little portion of something he wrote that they stole and made a movie out of. And I remember this film being.
Oh, I know the film.
Of course, you know the film. I remember when I saw this when I was a kid. I remember liking this, and just watching like a small trailer TV spot type situation. I'm like, how the fuck did I like this? But we are gonna have a hell of a time reviewing this movie, I think.
Before you reveal it.
Well, since you know it, you should just guess it. No. That's always fun.
I want you to reveal it, but I want to tell you before you reveal it that I was showing Holly the list of all the films I have from 76, and she saw this film, if it's the one that you're thinking of. Okay. And she said, you sure as shit have to challenge him to that. And so, that is?
The Food of the Gods.
That is exactly what we're talking about. She's like, there's no way you're not doing Food of the Gods. I was like, oh, no, we're doing Food of the Gods.
Oh, that's happening, and it's happening next week.
Oh, that's awesome. I got to do some research on that one.
Yeah, you do the research, and I'll try and have somebody watch this with me, which I'm very unsuccessful with that. It almost never happens.
Well, if you want, you can make me watch it with you this weekend.
It's Father's Day this weekend, so...
Oh, that's right. Shit.
Yeah.
Oh, happy birthday, by the way.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I'm unavailable pretty much the entire weekend. I know we're going out to dinner tomorrow night. Saturday, I think we're watching All the Kids. Sunday is Father's Day.
That must be nice.
What must be nice?
Father's Day.
Oh. I don't know what they're going to do. Well, actually, that's not true. From what I understand, everyone is coming here, and Mare said she's going to cook. Which usually doesn't happen, and then I end up cooking.
My house full of people. How is that a Happy Father's Day? Everybody, leave me alone. How about that?
I did get a new server case for the Plex server.
There you go.
So I'm requesting some time alone to do that. I'm tired of the case that I have. It's a mid tower. It's very hard to work in. It's very small. I think
we're straying. I think we should wrap up the show if we're going to stray into the stat territory.
Yeah, you're right. All right, everybody. As always, thank you for joining us. Another episode of Moviesucktastic. Go to our website at moviesucktastic.com. Go to our iTunes feed, and you can listen and download the shows there. You can go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/moviesucktastic. You can leave us email. The address is themovieguys@moviesucktastic.com. You can also leave us voicemail, 908-514-4470. You're looking at me funny.
No, you're good. You're good.
You're looking at me like, when a dog hears a dog whistle or something, like your head's cocked to the side. Did I say something?
When you show a Cocker Spaniel a card trick, yeah.
Yeah. Rural Shaggy. So anyway, those are... you also can go and get the app for your Android device. It's at moviesucktastic.com/mst.apk. Or, what I've been telling everyone, just get your own favorite podcast app. Just go to your iTunes store, your Play Store for your Android app, or for your Android device. Just get your favorite podcast app and just do a search for Moviesucktastic. It just connects right to our iTunes feed. It's right there. So if you can't get our app, you can just get a standard podcast app, and you can search for our show, and it comes right up.
You're an adult, figure it out.
That's fucking A-right. I mean, I'm helping you out now a little bit, and that's okay. So do you have any words of wisdom, Mr. Wilson?
You're at a crossroads of your life. Crossroads of your life.
Predictable.
Yeah.
But I love it. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
Another yes, another no. Another chess move to make.
Man.